Chapter 6. We continue as we see the MC wearing an apron and welcoming the customers. We see that he's working in a restaurant. As he holds the cutlery and rushes, he thinks that the lunch rush is always crazy. As he's rushing, he suddenly trips. As he's about to fall, suddenly a lady comes and supports him. We see the lady asking him if he's okay and tells him that was a close call. He looks surprised as he thanks her. She winks at him and tells him to keep up the good work. One of the customers eats the food and says that the food is divine. Yua-san hears this and thanks the customer, as hearing compliments of the food makes her happy. The customer asks her if she's the one who made it. Yua-san replies and tells her yes. She continues and says that she's traveled all over the world, gathering ideas and then putting her own spin on them to serve here. Hearing this pleasantly surprises the customer. She says, "That so-called creative cuisine? Wonderful." The other customers also take note of her presence and start saying things like, "Yua-san is as lovely and graceful as ever. I wish I could be such a composed lady." Now we see the shop being closed for the day. The MC tells the manager that he's done closing the shop. The manager tells him good work for the day and lets him go. As he's going, suddenly Yua runs up to him and grabs him by surprise. As she grabs him, she says, "I caught Motomun." He asks her what's with that name. She replies and tells him that it's 'cause he's cute, like a mascot. She tells him that Motomu, Motomun are his evolutions. She starts teasing him, as she tells him to hurry up and evolve to his next form already. The MC looks annoyed as she does this and tells her to knock it off. He side-eyes her and tells her that if the regulars knew she had this hidden childish side, they'd be so disillusioned. Hearing this makes her say, "You think?" She suddenly puts her hand on his cheek and gets close to him as she says, "I'll just get them back like this." He doesn't react at all. He removes her hands off his face and tells her that her fans are going to murder him, so she should stop. Seeing this reaction confuses her. She sounds confused as she says, "What a bland reaction he just gave." She asks him if he found a girlfriend. Hearing this shocks him. She grins as she teases him and tells him that every time she'd tease him like that, he'd be all sheepish with a beet red face. So she thought maybe he'd gotten some experience. Hearing this makes him recall all the incidents with Akari. Yua continues and says that he was pretty giddy when he was buying some of their pastries before going home yesterday. He said they were for himself, but were they really for his girlfriend? He immediately refuses and tells her to stop making up her own stories. He suddenly recalls the card and asks her what was that about. As he says this, he thinks that the card put Akari in such a bad mood. She replies and says, "What was it about?" Exactly what was written. She grabs his hand and tells him to come with her as she says this in a seductive tone. Now we see the staff-only room. We hear some heavy breathing coming from the room as the MC tells Yua-san that he's about to die. She asks him, how is it? Is he feeling heaven yet? Suddenly we see him shaking and breathing heavily. We see that the MC is actually stressing out as he tells her that this is anything but heaven. This is pure hell. We see that there's some weird-ass dishes in front of him as he says this. She picks up a piece of the food and asks him if there's anything here that he thinks could work as a special. With fear in his eyes, he tells her that everything is awful. Hearing this gets her thinking. She tells him that she thought she had some interesting combinations here. The MC takes a bite of the food and makes a disgusted face, as he thinks that Yua-san's creations are too hit and miss. When it's a hit, it really is good enough to send you to heaven, though. As he says this, he suddenly barfs in his mouth. She sees this and asks him, why does he always clean his plate even though he says it tastes awful? He looks at her and tells her that he knows that she's always thinking about the customers and the shop while she's coming up with new dishes. If he just took one bite, he might miss something, and anyway, this is all he can do to be of any help to her. Hearing this makes her blush real hard. She sees radiant light surrounding the MC as she looks at him. She starts crying tears of joy as she internally screams and thinks what a pure and beautiful soul he has. He truly is an angel. She suddenly goes and grabs onto him. As she hugs him, she tells him that he has a gentle warmth. He's an angel. He's her heaven. She wanted to take him to heaven, but it turns out it was right here all along. As she does this, he looks worried. She continues and says that this is where she lives now, in his embrace. She's moving from her 2 LDK to this 1 MU, male university student. Hearing her say all this makes him ask her if she's been drinking. Now after leaving the cafe, we see the MC walking home as he holds his stomach and says that he ate too much, and now he feels awful. and he's getting home pretty late as well. He feels like puking again as he thinks that Akari made dinner too. He'll feel bad, but he's putting it in the fridge for tomorrow. As he reaches home, we see Akari welcome him with a bright, cheerful smile. He sees a plate of egg rice and salad in front of him. As he looks like he's about to die, he tells her that this looks really good. She giggles and tells him that she got a little carried away. She blushes and tells him that she really likes egg rice, so she's had a lot of practice, which is why she put in more effort making this than anything else before. She tells him that this is her full potential right now. As she says this, he looks gloomy as he thinks that, of course, today of all days, she goes all out. He looks troubled as he thinks that this egg rice is so special to her. He wants to savor it when he's in a better condition. He works up the courage and tries to tell her that he's really sorry, but the truth is that he's had dinner already. But before he could say it, Akari's stomach makes a loud sound. Hearing this makes her embarrassed. He hears this and gets shocked as he asks her if she hasn't eaten yet and if she was waiting for him. Akari hides her face from the embarrassment and tells him to please not pay attention to her. As she blushes, she tells him that the food they eat together tastes the best, so she waited because she wanted to, and they say that hunger is the best spice. Hearing this makes his heart skip a beat. He looks determined after seeing her emotional and thinks that if he doesn't eat this right now, he can't call himself a man. As he thinks this, he tells her that they should start eating. After some time, we see the plate empty. We see the MC looking like a balloon as he struggles to breathe. Akari looks at him and looks a bit sad as she asks him if he did not like the food. He replies and tells her that it was really good. She seems more worried as she tells him that he took a long time to eat it and he looked like he was in pain. She makes a guess and asks him if he perhaps had already eaten dinner. Hearing this shocks him. He starts sweating as he tries to act oblivious and tells her that, of course, he didn't eat before. She looks at him and tells him that he's a terrible liar. She thinks about the card from yesterday and asks him if he went out on a date with the message card sender. Hearing this makes him flustered. He tells her that it wasn't a date and it was for work. He comes clean to her and tells her that Yua-san asked him to sample some of her food, so he'd already eaten before he got home today. Hearing that it was for work relieves her stress a little. He continues and says, "I get that at first glance the card would sound misleading. She's always teasing me by saying stuff like that. She just likes toying with him. She can be a real pain." Akari tells him that they sure are close and that she's a little jealous. Hearing this confuses the MC. He wonders if that is something a close friend would do. As Akari takes the plate, she tells him to please say something if he has eaten before he gets home. She's not going to force him to eat anything. With a pained look on her face, she tells him that he doesn't need to be mindful of her. She's just collateral for a debt. Hearing this worries the MC. The next day, we see the MC looking worried as he sighs and says that he screwed up. Yua-san comes and puts her assets on his head and asks him what's wrong. He tells her that she's heavy and she's too close, even though there's no customer right now. Yua-san tries to tease him and tells him that he's thinking about another girl, and she's getting jealous because of that. Hearing this makes him panic and turn beet red. Seeing his reaction surprises Yua-san. She suddenly pouts and looks annoyed. She hugs him and pushes his head between her assets as she says, "Thinking about another girl in front of a girl is bad manners." He tries to tell her that he can't breathe, but she can't hear him as his voice is muffled. She can't hear properly and thinks that he's saying 26 is too old to be calling herself a girl. She gets annoyed as she misunderstands him and tells him that this is a world where anyone can call themselves a girl if they truly believe. She shoves his head even harder into her assets and tells him to check out the firmness and elasticity of her assets. As he's getting choked, he thinks that he's being squashed by that firmness and elasticity. Suddenly, the cafe doorbell rings. Yua-san lets him go and welcomes the customer. The MC thinks that he's saved. He looks up at the customer to see who's that savior of his. He looks up and sees that it's Akari. Seeing her there shocks him. Suddenly, Akari starts looking red as she breathes heavily. Her legs get weak and start to wobble. He looks at this and goes in to catch her. As he holds her in his arms, he asks her if she's okay. As he holds her, he thinks that she's sweating profusely. Her face is pale. Slowly, Akari speaks and tells him that he looks great in an apron. The MC looks terrified as he tells Yua-san to get some water as Akari seems to be delirious from heat stroke. And this is how this chapter ends. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you,